Thoughts, emotions and actions are interconnected. It is just that people's preferences on these tools of the mind are different. Some people prefer thoughts, others emotions and still others actions. People have intrinsically different preferences. However, it does not mean that a person does not use the other tools when he/she prefers a certain tool. A person who primarily use thoughts also use emotions and actions with thoughts at the center. A person who prioritize emotions feel them first and move on to use thoughts and actions. When a person uses actions first, he/she tend to employ emotions and thoughts afterwards. People's reactionary axes tend to differ the most when they are reacting to something in a subconscious level. It seems that these differences formed based on people's life experiences and temperaments, are the things that are creating different patterns of reaction. The point is that OCD patients have broken emotional linkages. People with OCD tend to be the ones who prioritize thoughts. Even when they are feeling fear, they think about it first and then move on to emotions and actions. Having OCD is like having a broken emotional linkage in this process. You cannot connect your thoughts and emotions to make a judgment and act on it. It is like having a missing cog in a saw-toothed wheel. Your energy is seeping out. This, the missing cog, tend to be the cause of your OCD symptoms. This is the reason why your obsessive behaviors can be stopped and your OCD symptoms can be relieved by the treatments that are aimed to revive your emotions. By reviving emotions, we can also create a passage that will lead us to the actual causes of your OCD. This is about closing the opened up lid of your pot. After the lid is closed, it will become much easier for you to find the causes of your OCD and to deal with them. I've seen many patients discovering their hidden emotions in the course of trying to find the causes of their OCD. Using your hidden emotions as a driving force, you will also be able to stop and control your obsessive behaviors. To prevent unnecessary misunderstandings, I will make myself clear. I am not saying that people with OCD cannot feel emotions at all. Instead, I am trying to say that OCD patients have hard time showing certain key emotions. These key emotions include not only positive feelings but also negative feelings such as anger, sadness, hatred and shame. It may vary from person to person, but in general, people with OCD tend to create self-reproaching patterns and become guilty and depressed. OCD is a state where a person becomes dominated by anxious and uncomfortable emotions, the very feelings that are related with his/her subconscious fears. Not many OCD patients blame their disorders on other people or try to harm them. On the contrary, they are extremely scared of such thoughts and behaviors. Consequently, they tend to blame themselves, not external factors, for their anxiety and fear. As a result, they develop a sense of guilt. This must have something to do with OCD patients sensing the fear caused by the stimuli on their cingulate gyrus before anything else. I have seen many cases of suppressed anger becoming the cause of people's OCD. I once met a patient who read an advertisement on a newspaper and went to see a counselor who advertised that he has an ability to cure OCD in the 90s. He waited the whole day and paid a fortune to meet the counselor and ended up getting a comment for his prescription. It went, "OCD is a disorder caused by your niceness." He was angry for his money and time lost, but he was unable to express his anger at that time, again. Even though the counselor's treatment lacked significance and I strongly believe that he shouldn't cheat people in need like that, but must admit that he had a point. We need to figure out the true meaning of his comment. Having OCD is like having one's emotional drain clogged. If you consider a drain as your emotional passage, the reason why it is clogged would be your pent-up emotions. I've seen many cases of anger being the solution to unclog blocked-up drains. If we say that having intermittent explosive disorder (IED) is like having a drain flowing backward, having OCD is like having a completely clogged up drain. You cannot do anything with a clogged drain. The same can be applied to the cases of OCD patients. They cannot live their everyday life properly because of their OCD. Firstly, let's think about the emotions that create a nice person. Say that there is a family with an angry father and a patiently bearing mother. This is not a picture uncommon in Korean society of the past. It is likely that a child under this kind of parents would have felt that his furious father was tearing apart his family. On the contrary, he is likely to have felt pity for his mother and her suffering. A person who grew up in this kind of environment has high chance of adopting the idea that expressing one's anger is bad, that anger itself is a bad feeling. To stop oneself from being angry like her father, she will suppress her anger to the utmost extent. It is the rule her mind accepted not to be like her father. Expressing anger becomes the one thing she should never do. This is only an example. Mothers can be the aggressive family member too. As everybody is in a different situation, everybody has a different cognitive structure suppressing her emotions. I have observed many people with the cognitive structures that are wrongly associated with the notion of niceness. Many patients I met seem to have a belief that niceness has a direct connection to simply not being angry. I've seen them feeling a sense of relief and freedom just by being told that being angry in a healthy way to protect themselves and to do justice is okay, that it is a positive and necessary reaction that they can have. However, the angry reactions of OCD patients tend to be very unnatural when expressed as they have no experience of doing so. This is the result of their denials of anger suppressing their expressions of anger. To them, suppressing anger is the trait of a nice and just person. This is because the expression of anger is what breaks down the family to the eyes of children they once were. Men with OCD tend to have repressed masculinity. Their points of failure also tend to be the occasions when they failed to successfully display their masculinity, such as floundering in achieving social success and meeting their parents' expectations. Emotions like guilt, self-reproach, shame and sadness caused by the toxic mixture of their perfectionism and social failure overtake them. Of course, depending on person and circumstance, the core emotion blocked may not be anger. This is the reason why OCD patients need professional counseling to pinpoint and resolve such emotions of theirs. To do so, we need to work to reconnect your thoughts and emotions. You will need to re-experience a specific moment and reconnect thoughts that came up at that moment with the emotions appropriate to such moment. This helps you to find your suppressed and hidden emotions and reveal them. By doing so, you will be able to normally express and resolve emotions that you should have felt at that moment. And then we will move on to reconnect your emotions with a real-life experience. This is done by symbolizing and changing your past emotions or by experiencing new emotions that are likely to be felt now if you are in the moment identical to the one you once were. This process is about letting you know that you don't have to suppress your emotions anymore like you did in the past. This is about helping you feel, by adding the element of emotion to your pattern of judgment which has been emotionless. This is a methodology of connecting thought, emotions and symbols in order to help you make right decisions and fix the leakage inside you. In most of the cases, OCD patients cannot even bring up emotions they are feeling to their minds. That's why we need to start from the higher category of emotions, introduce more detailed examples of the emotions in such categories and make you choose the ones you feel the most connected to. This is because many OCD patients have hard time verbalizing their emotions when they first attend their counseling session. However, once they are provided with the options they can choose from, they start to feel certain emotions. After choosing the emotions in the higher category such as anger, sadness, hatred and anticipation and subdividing them into more detailed emotions, you will be able to bring back the important incidents you have experienced in the past. One by one, you will have to find and reveal the emotions you have been hiding. I am not saying that revealing your emotions is enough. For example, simply expressing your anger won't solve any of your problems. You can't just get around expressing the anger inside you, as it will only make you more aggressive. This is the point to be noted, because many OCD patients have tendency to worry about themselves becoming aggressive. Instead, we need to find the exact point for you to express your feelings, come up with the principles and rules of the expression and work inside those boundaries. We need to connect right thoughts with emotions that fit them. We need to mend the hole on your mind with a needle and a thread. You won't be able to mend it by just poking around. You can regard this as a process to learn how to physically express and relieve your emotions. It is a way of learning how to verbalize your anger in a healthy way. By doing so, you will get to feel safe to express your emotions. You will also become skilled at expressing them. Keep in mind that this is a subconscious process. This is about dealing with the symbols and emotions rooted deep inside your mind. This is about changing your emotional memories. This is the reason why I need to help you find and release your suppressed emotions. You need to experience that it is okay to express such emotions. You, the reader, must be suppressing certain emotions. These emotions are the causes of your anxiety. So it becomes important to understand the reason why you are suppressing such emotions. It also is important to release them. To know the reason is to understand your own experiences that made you suppress your emotions and find out what these experiences mean to you. You have to unclog the drain of your emotions. An exit has to be created before we start to analyze your OCD symptoms for their removal.